Alright, hello, hello. Looks like our bit rate is good and we are live. Um, Today I plan on mainly building a radar station for DayZ and DayZ Editor. Um, I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of tutorial stuff. I think that there's a lot of good content out there um, to teach you how to use DayZ Editor. But let's start out with showing you guys some of what we're going to be building. So I'll go over a couple little things, I guess, first. Let's see, get rid of everything. So this series is mainly going to be, like I said, about building custom areas in DayZ, mainly bunkers. Um, this is one I already have built on my server. It can be found. You can go inside and explore it. Do somewhat of a little fly around. Um, Now the way I have things designed um, is you can find my custom areas through quests. So I have also built little areas. So once you make it to the safe zone, you can find an NPC. They'll give you a quest to come find the recon location. Makes it easier to find bunkers a little bit easier. You can do it kind of with anything you build. Just a little trick of mine. Um, let's see here. So let's load, or I guess actually, if you want to see what this looks like without the custom area on it, I could close the file. And now we are back to what would be the vanilla Chinaris area. But anyway, that's just kind of a quick preview. What I want to do is load up Chinaris. I'm going to keep all the building stuff around an hour, um, depending on whether our editor crashes, depending on my indecision on how and where we're going to build things. Um, this is just changelog stuff you'll get popping up all the time. But I have the idea to build a nice little radar station to replace the Tizzy shooting range. Obviously, this is a nice area to build because it's pretty flat. Um, you don't really have to delete a whole lot if you don't have to clear like forest areas, things like that. It's a really nice place to build. I know a lot of people build at Northwest Airfield or like some of the other airfields, but this is one of my nice places that I build at. So first, things first, we want to get rid of everything we don't need. These little things here can definitely be easy to miss. Let's see, there's a couple more. I'm going to get rid of anything shooting rangey, right? Like, uh, over here, I think there's some more paper targets. Shed. Some of these. We'll keep, things like this that way as we build this into a large radar complex. Um, it'll blend more into what actually is Tizzy, right? I guess for anyone who hasn't seen Tizzy in its entirety, this is a nice little kind of overview of the barracks areas, the headquarters area. Um, Veterans will recognize this building, and we have our statue of this guy. But anyway, my goal is to add to this without really messing with what is already there. So, I am building this based off of a real life location. I don't really want to say where yet. I want people to kind of guess um, or find it. If you guys are fans of survival games or DayZ-ish games, you'll probably begin to recognize it as I build it. Let's see here. I think this is just the frame. Yes? Oh no, this is the full model. Okay. So what we have here is a land airfield radar tall. Right. So the nice thing about DayZ Editor and a lot of the builder objects that come with it is they come with these full built models, right, that you can just kind of plug and place. I think a lot of these are like the airfield, right? Um, but then they actually come with the components to it. So like there's an easy one. You can probably see the generator. We have the generator kind of like component to it right there. But what we can do, I want to build some of these towers, right? However, I want to change the radar piece at the top. Uh, I want to make them a little taller. I want to have a row of these that are nice and short. Um, and then another row that kind of match, but we're going to scale them up a little bit and kind of edit each of the towers. And ultimately, the end game will be a nice little jumping area, a nice little um, kind of maze right through an antenna array that people can explore and get Overwatch from. We'll have buildings kind of along the back here where you can get up in and do Overwatch over people looting the buildings, uh, things like that. So first part is probably going to be the most monotonous, which is taking these tower component pieces that I need and putting together the tower by hand. Hopefully this will all kind of start to make sense. Um, Even if I don't make sense, hopefully watching kind of me put all this together. This is probably not a difficult thing to do, but more of a tedious thing to do when you're trying to do custom areas is make sure everything aligns properly. But luckily you can find good points, you know, like a line at the bottom of the stairs. You know these two pieces are aligned, so now you know everything else is going to be pretty much aligned. And the nice thing is too, I have this here, so if I ever do get lost or confused or I'm not quite sure what something's supposed to look like, you have a nice built piece to reference. No, I'm gonna need these. I'll just grab those. So what does this say? Tall fuse boxes. I think I just need, these are the sheets. Okay, may need those. Put those over there. Stairs, okay. So these will be the stairs, right? This all might start making sense. Trying to get them in there. It looks like we need to bring our railing up a little bit. These are our railings. Just see what that looks like. Not too terrible. What we can do here is take our sheets. Oh. Like I said, this is probably one of the more monotonous parts of it, is trying to get everything just to line up. And before we make it too far, one thing we can do is always pop in our character here. Alright. Oop. Interesting. Let's see if I can walk through this. No. So this must mean I am using the wrong pieces. Like I said, it's always a good thing to test. Builder object. Builder mill. Builder mill. Let's see. So this is a what? I bet you if I put these stairs down, I can walk up these stairs. Oh, maybe not. Okay. First we have to get Linda out of the way. I wonder. It's just our... That's the fully built. Ball blank hover. Perhaps it is this. Oh no. Let's try this one instead. Interesting. Well, this is proxy. So I might have to build my towers a little differently. It's not the end of the world, I guess. Let's see here. So this looks like I might be able to use it. Ah, yes, okay. We have collision with this. As you can tell, some of the previews of the models are not exactly accurate. You'll see, like, you pull up Land Mill Radar Mobile 1, it just shows you the base, but if you actually click on it and go to place it, it shows you kind of the other pieces here. So, instead of building each tower by hand with the staircase and everything, kind of like I wanted to do, it's a little bit of a different way we can go about it. I know one way or another, I want a row of these. Let's see if I want five, or if I want. I don't know. The nice thing is, I mean, this is a very, very long piece of land here, so let's do 10. Let's do 10 of these small ones. Power of Control J, right? And then if I plan on doing 10 of these, I can either go manually place 10 of them, or what I'm going to do, I just want to make sure they kind of are aligned here. Select both, Control J, slide them over. Right, this will help us kind of keep equal spacing. So now we have 4 little towers. Do the same thing. Control J. And now we have 8 little towers. Let's see. Beautiful. Not quite sure if they're straight. So that's 8. I want to do 10. Yeah. So we just need these two. Control J. And we have a nice little line of towers. Now, to build the bigger ones, technically this is the same tower, right? Like if we really look at it, it doesn't have all the wires, it doesn't have like the generator and stuff on it. If we come down, like and look below, oh, this is why we also go below to make sure our towers are not floating. That is easy to fix though. Do it right now actually. All of our towers. Bring them down here. Some of these are in the ground. Whoops. Don't you love it when you hit the wrong button? These two could come up a little bit. Not everything has to look, exactly symmetrical, right? Like we want it to look like time. It's kind of gone on since they've been put in. They're not supposed to be pristine, which we'll get into a lot of the, how I go through and add some of that. Like it's really easy to do, making them look sunk into the ground and adding some rubble and whatnot. But that's just kind of the start, right? You want to add a little bit more decoration. All right. So anyway, that is the same tower. It's just stripped of a lot of the extra stuff, right? Like it's just kind of the frame. I don't want them right next to each other though. We want to go here. Okay. Looks like there's 15 of the big towers, right, in our references, but we want to add some little ones in here. And we'll be using some of these panels too, as you see me scrolling through a lot of these. Like some of these are just really cool panels to. You've seen them. If you play DayZ, you've seen them in the airfield, the what do they call them? The HTC towers, things like that. Some of these are pretty fun too. Probably go small. Small radar dome. Some of these I just like pulling as I go so I don't forget, that they exist, or I can add them later, move them around. There's a specific tower I'm looking for though. I think it's under radio though instead of radar. Get some of your builder. No, maybe it's under a tower. It's probably some type of tower, like... Ah, yes. Okay. Whoops. Okay. I just want to zoom out here for a minute. Place some of these. This one, that's the tall one, I think so. Ah, okay, so it's the TC34. It's the really big one. It's about the same size as the one I think at Green Mountain, which that one's also in here too, right? You can get the base to that and kind of build a Green Mountain one. But we're not doing that. At least not today. It's easy to snap. And then really the only important part, honestly, is for these bigger towers, because people can climb them. Like, as you can see, this would not be okay. um, Especially if you want people to be able to climb them. So even though the outside's kind of aligned, obviously want to turn it. To find where it's supposed to be, though, here. Did I miss it? This is the base, right? This is the mid. Does it line up right there? Oh, I guess it does. Okay. Chum. Again, too, stuff like this you want to always test, right? I'm not going to spend the stream climbing up all of these ladders, but when you build, especially something that comes up here, and if something goes wrong and it's like your fault as the person who built the thing, players die and complain, you know. But that is part of the fun. You know, they come up here, and if they fall, then it's a long way down. The thing is, this might be a little too big for what I'm going for. However, I also can do things like grab. Oh, I also didn't put the top on yet, right? We have the top here. Put on. Yeah, making sure our ladders are just at least lined up. Looks like we're a little bit off here. Too high or too low. not too shabby. I don't know. I'm a little torn. I like it, but he isn't sure if it's really gonna fit the vibe. Decisions. Right, decisions. I'm not sure how I want to go about this. I think one down here. Second guessing how many towers I actually want for the small ones. I guess to help me decide what I can do, see how big I want to make these. I lost my builder Linda character. Um, Put her over here somewhere. And that gives me a good scale size, right? Like I know this is my player. I know this is kind of gives you a perspective. And you, like I said, once I kind of get everything a little bit more built together, we'll start doing more walk around with the player in DayZ Editor to kind of give us an idea of kind of like earlier in the stream. I was trying to find pieces I could walk on or had collision attached, and um, you'll find lots of things in DayZ that aren't all put together yet, which is part of the fun, right? It gives you people like me and you, or anybody interested in finishing it or adding to it, the opportunity to add to it. Okay, so this is how big we'd have to make that to kind of match. I guess is not too terrible. Do kind of want to see it from player perspective though. So if I were to come up here to Tizzy and see this, like, what am I experiencing here? pretty decent for just a line of radio towers, right? Um, if I make this big though, as you can see some of the pieces, it's kind of obvious. We'd have to do a lot of internal decorating. I don't even think that would help. So, if you scale it too big, then obviously it doesn't work. So, let's see what we can get away with, if anything. Suppose we could try to get a little creative too, right? Let's see here. Well, we could always do something like this, I suppose. See what this looks like. What happens if I pop that right down in there? There we go. Looks like an interesting little radar. Experimental radar tower, does it not? We can leave that. Leave those. Let's see. So much for keeping my builds to an hour. Already at about 42 minutes. I'm just getting the radar array kind of around. Kinda seeing how everything looks here. I guess this looks kinda out of place right there. Like it kinda would belong over there, yeah? It's, oh, that's the little radar station. Put that down there. At the end. I suppose if I want a row of really tall towers, I'm gonna have to either use What are these called? The Land Tower TC4. Or play with, at least play with the pieces to it, right? Um, just thinking, just thinking. So this tower has a ladder that ends at that platform. So here's what we do. We're gonna take my short row of towers. I'm gonna have those there instead. Control Z. Da, 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 da. Think those two there. Keep that one down there. Well, this is going to make my placement list very long here. If you pay attention on the right hand side where you see all of this stuff, this kind of keeps track of everything that you've placed, right? Um, it's about to get really long because I'm about to duplicate this tower. So I want a row of them, just like I want to have a row of these, right? I want a row of these that will bring up against kind of the end pieces over here. And at the very least, that gives me kind of like a good idea block of how many towers I can fit in a row, um, what it would look like scale-wise, if, I should use a smaller tower, if I should maybe cut back on the amount of towers I need. As you can see, as I duplicate, I'm getting, I'm basically duplicating 3 objects at a time. Okay. So I think for scale, I guess. So now I have these kind of in sections here. Let's delete that. Oh, I don't even think I have this one in here yet. This is, yeah. Huh. Like I said, sometimes it's just about seeing what all parts fit together here. Sometimes they look pretty cool. Sometimes they do not. Like that probably will not work. This, though, this looks, I mean, this looks pretty cool. I do say so myself. I like this idea. Don't think, though. Actually gonna have to do something more along the lines of this. So that might be a problem. I mean, again, it looks cool, but if somebody comes up the ladder here, they look into the object, right? Because it's not meant to be seen from the side. It'll be see-through. So I could seal it off, right? I could probably pick something to seal it off with. Uh, I also don't like how new they all look, right? Like these have this nice like gray, been here a while, kind of rusted look. These are a little too new. Get rid of all these here. Let's try working with just these. I mean, even these are kind of... Oh, that looks like just sitting on the ground. It's not too bad. Me wonders though. Can we have a Green Mountain antenna without the middle? Probably not. Alright. Maybe we don't do... Hmm. Thinking again, right? Let's see. To the ground. She look like just sitting next to these. Not too bad, really. Maybe that's what we'll use. I don't see why not. No, we'll find a way to... find a way to make this work. Close together. I like this here. Okay, so here's what we'll do. Make it look like this is kind of like a newer addition, or like a newer add-on. It's like this is kind of the old part of the radar, and then this will be kind of the newer part of the radar. Making some of my own rules here. So yeah, starting to look slightly ominous, I suppose. Let me make sure though. Okay. We can open and we can come in. Okay. What we're not gonna go all the way. Yeah, essentially someone should be able to climb right up to here, come out this door, and you're right around the outside. Okay. So we went with what? 10 of those. 2, 3, 4, 5. Starting to kind of look like what I want to do. Whoops. So we're at about an hour. I think we've got a decent amount decided, really. It doesn't look like a whole lot. It looks like a line of radio towers, but whoops. So we'll go through and adjust kind of all of the level details right later. Um, so obviously your finished stuff, you don't want any of this floating. Like these are all still floating, but that's all kind of minor adjustment stuff. Right now I want to focus on blocking everything out. So I know now how long, if I want the tower radar tower array to be this big, have this many different variations of radar in it. Um, this is kind of what I can look like. Oh, and we forgot about our little guy over here. Forgot about our little Sakal radar. We'll put those kind of everywhere. I'm gonna take a quick break. When I come back, probably do all of the outbuildings, right? So I'll start to. This is just kind of the main radar section, which we'll come back to. I'll start doing kind of the integration into the rest of Tizzy, right? So this is normally where you'd come down, and into the shooting range. We'll make this into like a gate area, into the radar compound, fence all this off, put some buildings in. So yeah, be back in a little bit. Just grab something to drink, all that. after a nice little break. Got a little drink. My mouth got dry. I'm not used to talking this long. Um, and I've just been also looking at this. I have kind of changed my mind on this whole setup already. Looks cool. I like it, but I don't like it. Right, so we're gonna keep things a little bit more simple, I think. I like to keep things looking a little bit more uniform here. This is also why I have not gone through and leveled everything yet. I guess just another one of my pro little tips. You move all these things and you go through, like if I set all this and go through and level them all out to the ground and change my mind and need to move them or delete them or swap them for anything, um, you just spend 10-15 minutes leveling a bunch of stuff to the ground that you're going to delete or have to move. So I don't waste too much time going through and checking all of this kind of until like if I know I want this to stay, uh, then you go through and change all that stuff. Right now, this is more of, like I said, blocking. We're blocking everything out. We're seeing what fits, what doesn't fit. Um, Need to move my Linda again. That's why she has a little yellow hat, the red shirt. See, I mean, we never lose her down here. Ready to say hi to Linda? We almost have everything even perfectly lined up too, which I'm most impressed with myself with. I almost never get that to happen when I'm trying to make straight lines of things. It's back here. Kind of want it separate a little bit. This is looking a little bit more like what I wanted to. These towers are essentially the same. Like I said, I'm not trying to overdo it with the modern look. I want it to look like it kind of sat a while. Some of my HUDs here. I don't know if it's starting to look a little familiar to anybody yet, especially now that I've got kind of the radar bit fixed a little. If not, it'll start to, I think, once we start doing some of the other buildings and here's what we're gonna do. This here. That's interesting. All the towers, please. Yeah. These to be together. Forget about our little radar guy down there. Alright, let's pull into somewhere super safe. Over here. And I guess to kind of end it all off here, I really like these. What are these here? Ah, more towers. Okay. Do I like them, though? That's the question. Okay, we know I need these. There are all these little things I forget about. Is this a ladder? Let me see here. Oh, it is a ladder. See? Find new things every day. What else do we have here? I think this isn't gonna work. Yeah, that wouldn't work. Part of me is just pulling these now so I don't forget to come grab them, or I see them now and see, is this just the P3D? It is. Okay. Don't remember the difference here. Oh. Okay. It's not any bigger. Okay. So now that I refound those, suppose what we'll do is this. Can this be climbed? It can be climbed. Just not all the way. Okay. Just to give myself a little bit of breathing room here. Is there a ladder on this one? I don't remember. I think so. Kinda want everything. Facing that way. Not looking too terrible, right? Here's a radio. There we go. Huh. Question is, how do I want this to look here? That looks good. So then let's put one over here. Yeah. Yeah. All about finding new and interesting ways. Let's see. There's lots of indecision over what I want this to look like here. This part I like. Um, we might call it a day here soon. Alright, what is this thing? Specific tower transmitter. I'm wondering. Does this have a... Okay. So this I'm actually going to keep out for now, just because I can use it for part of my plan. Yeah, I have my, at least the radar array down. What we'll do probably is at least go lay some buildings. Keep some of this stuff over here for now, so I know they go. Probably before I end my stream for this today, I'll at least do some building pieces. That way we come back. Kind of an idea how this is going to look. Don't know what I want here for buildings, though. Easiest place to probably start would be in Tizzy. Find all of the Tizzy stuff. This folder will have, like I said, Tizzy stuff. Ooh, what's that? Eric's windows. Eric's stairs. Okay. Probably not, right? Probably not that so much. Let's see here. Don't mind that one. Some of these might fit my just a little bit better though. Again, not worried too much about getting them all aligned and everything. I'm just kind of picking stuff. Oh, it's a little too small. Yeah. We have a guardhouse, so ooh, do I like the guardhouse with the gate? Haven't quite decided how I'm doing the gate. Always liked these buildings, always been disappointed about the loot I find in them. Hopefully play with that in the game files though. This will serve as a decent starter concept, I think. It's the hospital. Hmm. These are always fun, just to kind of come in. See here. I think that's from the ski resort. These are offices. What I'm honestly looking for are those big apartment complex buildings. We have to, we'll go over there and... Ah, here we go. of our stairs and stuff. I'll probably go with one of these. Yeah, there we go. That's a little bit better. All right. So probably after, let's see, at least a dinner break, right? At least dinner break, come back. I'll probably do finish, at least finish blocking this out, right? Let's see, I'm kind of tired. As much as I don't want to delete it, kind of want to use it. It's unnecessary though. Uh, we have this wonderful array here made. Um, which we might come back on, to be honest, now that I'm looking at the size. I ultimately want to do kind of a residential area and a military area behind the array, have it separated by fences, barbed wire, things like that. Blend it back into Tizzy so we have kind of like a control station over here. But, uh, but yeah, we'll get it all made. It's definitely more room than I thought I was gonna have. Um, so we might end up, you know, cutting all of this, right? Like I might cut some of these back, um, bring some of these more unique pieces back this way. Give me a little bit more room for some of the outer buildings, right? Um, so what I can do is kind of go over how we save, I guess. Probably a bad time for me to mention this. This does not save as you go. So if this were to crash right now, I lose everything. Luckily, that's also why I don't do a lot of intricate work right away. That way, if something crashes, or ultimately all I've done is put up a bunch of radar arrays in some buildings, right? It's pretty easy for me to get this back to where I have it now that I have an idea of what's going on. Um, but you'll always want to do a save as, right? Your um, editor will pop up. Now this kind of lives. Um, let's see. Can I show you? I can't show you it here. Um, it lives in your DayZ Editor, right, in your documents. I separate my stuff by folders, so like I already have a Livonia Bunker add-on, which I showed you earlier. My Sakal, right, this is the Sakal.dze for my Sakal Bunker build. We're working on Northwest Airfield. So what I'm going to do for this, right, because this is kind of a new area that I'm starting, we're just going to save it in the editor in here for now, right? Um, File name. Let's see, what should we name it? Let's do Tizzy Radar. Right, and it will save it as a .dze file. Okay. Verify your save. Saved 33 objects. It'll tell you your deletions. Um, so then, like, if you want to open it, right, or if you want to open another one, so there it is, right? I can open. We're already in it. Do is open, like if I open my Sakal, right? Give you kind of a fly around of it. I have a little quest area just like I do on the Livonia one, um, where you can come out here and recon, and it helps show you the custom area, which is over here, as you can see from all of the little dots. But again, something else I put together. This one is I modeled after Sakal, or I used the Sakal bunker. Or on the other side of it, you'll recognize the sheds and everything. So, and if I close it, if I just close out of it, it'll revert back to what the area was before. Helicopter will go away. The pond that I built a bunker over is back. We want to reopen and go back to what we were working on, our DayZ radar station. Here we are again. Yeah, we'll come back to editing this. Probably finish it. I'll probably be able to finish it next stream. Now that I've decided what the radar is going to look like. Um, but yeah, thanks to anybody who watches this afterwards, because haven't had a live audience so far, but I'll keep going, especially if people show interest. So, peace.